Hey everybody, it's me, it's Michael B. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm not 100% sure how tonight's conversation is going to go. It might go completely off the rails because we're talking about home arcade prices in 2022. You can see with the announcement of the iArcade last week, people were pretty upset at the pricing structure, even the sale price. And the Arcade1Up prices for a long time have turned many longtime fans off. There's been nothing but complaints. But let's talk about this from a different perspective tonight. Let's not just ask the question of, are these cabinets worth the value? Let's talk about who these cabinets are for and what we think these cabinets for, and has it changed our gaming habits in the course of the last year since the prices have gone up. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm back after having my kid, and thank you for joining me. This is Chill and Chat with Michael B. So guys, just give me a second here. I'm getting set up. I've got a new streaming setup here where I've got double monitors. So I've got a monitor right here in front of me so I can watch what's going on OBS and control it that way. Then I've got my second monitor here where I can screen share and also read the chat. So let's see how this is going. I still have the goddamn Stream Deck I bought still in box. Not set up yet because I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. And also, I have a corner desk, and I don't like the way that's set up, so I'm in the process of getting a new desk that I'm going to use as well. So this is completely wacky. Just want to say hello to a couple people here in the chat. See my buddy Mike Dalton there, who's the biggest iArcade fan in the entire world. How's it going, brother? Shannon Zahn, JJ. We've also got Badastra Gaming, Asthmatic, Bobboy, Bobby Timson, of course. Hopsy66, Dan Z, hello Dan in St. Louis, Sterling Hall, and Jason Mucha. Thank you so much for being here tonight, guys. So the reason, hey, Chucky Shea's here too. What's happening, brother? So the reason I wanted to bring this up was, I don't know if it was last week or was it last Friday or the Friday before, iArcade had their huge new announcement at the Gold Edition cabinets, what we were calling Gen 2, or Michael from iArcade was calling the 1.4. Anyways, the Gold Editions were released. They look beautiful. People were excited until the price point hit. iArcade, of course, just went through a big period of sales. And then after the sales, oh, let me get Mike's comment off the screen there, guys. Sorry about that. After the period of sales, then all of a sudden we're getting a new cabinet, which people expected, but then the price shoots right back up and people are comparing the new cabinet's price to what the sale prices were for the iArcade, and it's hard to see some value there. So we'll talk about that, but we're also going to talk about what your perspectives are. And it's impossible not to talk about home arcade pricing without talking about Arcade1Up in the last couple of years. This went from a very interesting company that was accessible and affordable, and I'm going to say that a couple times tonight, accessible and affordable, to the prices almost doubling within the span of 2 years. Is this caused by changes in the product? Is it caused by increased cost of supplies due to the pandemic and inflation? Who knows? But at the end of the day, the question is, how has that changed our viewpoint as consumers? How has that changed our viewpoint as gaming consumers and what gaming we choose to consume? Anyways, let's get back to iArcade. Hey, Bob, I try my best, brother. I try my best. Yes, he read my name right tonight. Every now and then, I'll hit one out of the park. Everybody gripes when they don't have improvements, and then when they improve them, they don't want to pay for them. That's an interesting question. So let's start with iArcade. So iArcade released the Gold Edition cabinets, and I'm going to ruin a video I'm planning on doing tomorrow, so we'll actually see. But I'm going to ruin a video I'm planning on doing, but I asked the question, is the value for the iArcade Gold Edition there? Like, is there enough between what happened with the original iArcade and the Gold Edition to justify the increased price? So what we're getting is people for a long time said they didn't like the design of the iArcade. It was missing a light-up marquee. It didn't look like a standard American arcade cabinet, so they wanted to see that change. iArcade took all that into consideration and then built the cabinet the way that the people had requested, with the light-up marquee, with the traditional shape and form factor. And then they also made some other improvements people were complaining about. They didn't like that the the CPU was in the control panel, so they moved that. There's also another reason, too, that there was some humming from a tin plate that was up against the speakers, so they moved that. They brought in the JBL audio. Not 100% sure they needed to do that because the speaker system was pretty badass anyways with the iArcade, but they made these improvements. Now, all of a sudden, the cabinet comes back out. It's $7.99, which I can't remember the exact price after the pre-order, but I think the iArcade was, in fact, $7.99 after the initial pre-order for the deluxe edition or whatever, the one with the 128 gigabytes and SAMWA controls. I think that was $7.99 anyways. So what we're getting here is you're getting the next iteration of iArcade, but you're getting it at the original purchase price, and people are upset about that. And I think there's some distraction with the fact that we just had a massive sale on iArcade, which are confusing people about the prices. So that's first up. I want to hear what you guys have to say about that. What are your thoughts on the iArcade price point? So $9.99, that's crazy. I talked to the Brick about it here in Canada, whether or not they're going to bring them in, and I don't know. I'm sure they haven't had the conversation with iArcade yet. But if you think about it, I mean, that's going to be like $1,300 Canadian for a gold edition through the Brick. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Hey, Conti. Hey, Charlie Chuck. What's happening, guys? It's nice to see you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me back after the birth of the kids. So here I am. Tim Ziglinski, I hope I said that right, brother. Value is there for iArcade, but there's not enough value for me to upgrade. And there we go. And Charlie Chuck says, nice shirt. Charlie, I've actually got Alan's Ageless Arcades. What's happening, brother? So I've actually got to tell you a little bit of the iArcade shirt story. So years ago, we were going to have John on Super Game Room Dudes. He was going to make an appearance. And for the show, he wanted to send us all out iArcade shirts so we could wear when he was on to support the brand. So he sent everybody shirts, and I got my first iArcade shirt, the original shirt. I had it for years. I love it. I love wearing it. Hi, Mike Hockhurts. What's happening, brother? So I love wearing it. I wear it all the time. But then I ended up breaking my drying machine, and stupidly, instead of just replacing the drum or fixing it when I did, I kept trying to do all these home repairs, and I was drying clothes in it one night, and the dryer just stuck, and we didn't know what it stuck on. Lo and behold, we found out that actually my original iArcade shirt had actually got stuck in the dryer and got torn up. I wore it a couple days ago, and you guys couldn't see this because all you could see is the iArcade here. But the shirt underneath actually had a bunch of holes around the stomach. My wife told me I'm never allowed to wear it in public again. It looked like the shirt that the Brooklyn Brawler used to wear to the ring with the holes in the stomach. So I wrote Jong and I was like, hey, I didn't know about the merch store at the time. I wrote Jong and I said, hey, Jong, is there any way I could just buy another iArcade shirt from you guys? I ended up destroying this one. And he said, don't worry about it, brother. We're going to send you a new one. So they sent me this one. It says iArcade on the front, Retro Mania Wrestling on the back. I super appreciate him sending that out to me. You didn't have to do that. I really appreciate it. And thanks for taking care of me. Oh, yeah. So we'll talk about the Brick in a minute, Charlie Chuck. That's a really good point. I don't know about messed up. But it like everything this stuff comes with is price points. It's like Toy Shock. Like I was adamant that the Brick should bring Toy Shock in, and I thought there would be value here, but I had no idea what the price point was going to be. And at $7.49, it's just really, really hard to move Toy Shocks here for that price. $6.99 for iArcade Gold sounds reasonable. I still don't own one. I'm waiting on bigger title games. A lot of people feel the same way. And Chucky Shea, it's interesting because from what I'm being told, the iArcade Gold Edition is actually designed to really make you feel like that's good value and to bring in new customers that previously didn't buy iArcade. It's not really for an upgrade. It's hard to justify an upgrade for the iArcade. Like I mentioned, if you already have an iArcade, like I do, you can't see it right back there. I have an iArcade. there's no change here. I'm still going to be able to play every single game that the iArcade puts out. There's no change in the hardware other than the JBL audio. That's it. The only big difference, of course, is the form factor, art, and the light-up marquee. Now, I have the standard base edition, which I'm perfectly happy with. I think the controls are great. So there's also the benefit of upgrading. You get the SamWat controls. I don't know if there's buttons included with that SamWat controls. I don't know if the buttons are any better, but I also know they've got the new light up on-off button, which helps as well. So those are things you got to factor in as well. But the question is, do I really want to try to sell this base unit and then, chunk in $800 US, I mean Canada too, even though they've got an amazing sale price, to upgrade to the iArcade Gold Edition? It's kind of a hard pill to swallow for an upgrade. And then if you move into the territory where you actually bought like the 128 gigabyte Dragon's Lair or Retromania Wrestling Cab, I mean, you've already got the improved controls, you've got the additional memory. The only thing you're really getting is the JBL audio, the changes I told you about earlier, and then the form factor and the lit up marquee. So I mean, I don't know how many people are going to upgrade. I know I've seen a lot of super iArcade fans already upgrade, and I think that's great. That's fine. No judgment here, guys. If you want it and you can get it, go get it. Like, it's beautiful. I wish I had one. I reached out to iArcade and said, any chances you guys will send me a demo, but it's not in the cards this time. I'm probably going to get to review it anyway, so I'm not too concerned. My buddy Mike Dalton that was here earlier, hopefully he pops back in again. He's already told me he's got Space Ace ordered. He's the world's largest iArcade collector, so he's also ordering, I think, Dead Cells. So, I mean, he's going to get both those cabinets. So, really, if I want to review it, I can go down to his place and check it out and shoot my review there. So, for me, I don't know if I'm going to buy it myself. I can review it without spending any money. I already have an iArcade, so yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Bob Boyf says, I'm here to emotionally support and admire those that can purchase these. Not mad at costs. It's understandable, unfortunately. Yeah, Bob, that's an awesome point. We're going to get into that. Hey, Steve V, what are you doing here, man? You usually work tonight. It's nice to see you, brother. And Conti, of course, always nice to see you as well. So let's take a look. I'm going to bring this up. This is a new feature on Chill and Chat with Michael B, where I'm somewhat competent. Somewhat. Not fully. Somewhat. So, guys, I just want to go to the iArcade website here, and you can take a look. Here are the 4 Gold Edition cabinets, as you guys can see. Let's go into them here. Is it going to go directly into the Space Ace one, or just go into Gold Edition, Ultimate Arcade, Pre-order Gold Edition? So we'll go in and take a look at the different cabinets. So we've got the Double Dragon one, which I think looks absolutely beautiful, but I hate the fact you have to put the art on yourself. I wish they would change their minds on that. And also, if you can see the control panel, unless something's changed, it's got a standard iArcade control panel, so that was an odd choice. Space Invaders, I think, will probably be the most popular one, even though this is a multicade. People are going to go with the traditional arcade art, and they've done a beautiful job. But I'm going to go into Dead Cells. That's the one I'm probably the most interested in out of the group, even though it's not an arcade cabinet. I just think it looks beautiful. So you look at it, payment price right now is $7.99 US. And I've got to say congratulations to Jung and the team at iArcade, because another thing that they absolutely kick ass with is they've got special Canadian pricing where the shipping is only $50. Like, my shipping with Arcade1Up is always like $180 US. Right now, it's actually pretty good for Dragon's Lair. It's 119 Canadian, which is the best I've ever seen it. There's some kind of voodoo going on there, but iArcade top it. I can get this, which is 2 boxes, 2 heavy-ass boxes of arcade parts, the top and the base, for $50. So in one area where they kill it is on that shipping. Good job, Jong and team. But anyways, you can take a look at the cabinet here. Let's go down to product description. Take a look. Here it is. Sound by JBL Audio, 100-watt stereo, 19-inch HD display, 128 gigabyte onboard storage, online play, which I'm hoping to get a chance. It's been hard with the baby to do a live stream in the near future. New cabinet design, Batwing joysticks. Oh, the original had ball tops. That's interesting. HDMI out. That's on it already. Premium joysticks and controls. I don't know what it means by that. Is that the Sanwa ones? High gloss cabinet finish. I think that this description is underselling it a little bit. But anyways, here's the cabinet for your guys' look. We already looked at pictures of this to death, so we don't need to do it again. But it's a beautiful cabinet. I think that, I would love to have one. It's just, man, $7.99. Well, I could do 4 interest-free installments, I suppose. My wife would kill me. I do like it. I can't say I don't like it. Another thing which really would have put this over top, and I know it would have increased their costs, but I wish that they put the glass, tempered glass over the screen instead of it just being plexiglass. I love that tempered glass on my standard cabinet so much, and so glad I bought it. I'm sure I can just take my tempered glass off and put it on that one. Maybe that's what I'll do if I ever get one of these. On break. There it is. Thank you again so much for being here, Steve B. I appreciate it, man. On break. So that's the iArcade Gold Edition. $7.99. People were losing their minds. The question now comes is it's not whether or not it's worth it. It's whether or not it makes sense. Because this is the weird question. Like all these home arcade things, when this hobby first started, what made it so interesting is all these products were accessible, unlike, traditional arcade cabinets at the time were a little hard to find, a ton of maintenance involved with keeping them up, so it might be a little hard to have a home arcade in your house or a traditional arcade in your house. The idea of having something that was just designed for you to put up in your rec room, rumpus room, home bar, game room, or build your own arcade was so easy, because of the accessibility of just being able to order this online, having it delivered, and building it like an IKEA product. But the second part is where this comes in, and affordable. Now, the $7.99 certainly helps. Great introductory price. That's really going to help. But when this shoots back up to $9.99, I don't know who this then becomes for. I think this segregates a lot of the community on who can really afford this. To those people that can afford it and they're saying, stop complaining about price. Price is price. If you can't afford it, don't get it. Kudos to you that you can just afford to do whatever you want, but not everybody can. And for some people, it's a very serious decision on whether or not they're going to lay down that chunk of change in order to bring this in. So it's not as affordable and accessible for everyone anymore. It becomes more of a, I don't know what the right term is, luxury item, luxury tax, luxury item. So it's just really, really interesting. -1, yeah, we're going to get back to that in a second when we come up to Arcade1Up, but that's 100% a good point. There have been improvements, but we got to talk about the level of improvements. Chucky Shea says $9.99, never. That $50 shipping, 4 interest-free payments, maybe I can swing this. I wish I hadn't just bought. It's a big investment regardless. I mean, it is, Alan. Like that's the thing. Anytime you buy one of these cabinets, it's a big investment. But like, I'm just gonna go to the brick here and show you something. Like this is the brick here in Canada. I just type in arcades. So right now, here at the brick, of course, I didn't turn on the screen record because I'm a dummy. But here at the brick, you can actually go to the brick right now, and for $500 Canadian, pick up an iArcade Standard Edition top and base for $500. So you're telling me that I can do that for $500, or even if I wanted to get the 128 gigabyte version with the Dragon's Lair art, or Retromania is here somewhere, that's only $7.49 Canadian. That's the going price right now for those. You can go to the brick and buy those today. They even have inventory in store. I can do that for $7.49, or I go get the gold edition for $800 American, which is, I think I did the conversion on it the other day, about $1,100. I mean, it's tough. It is really tough, and I'm torn, but I want to get feedback from you guys. What do you think? Like, is this something you're completely comfortable with. I mean, maybe you have the resources and you can just buy whatever you want, and there is absolutely no, holdback for you. You don't have to worry about cost or prices or not. I'm going to say I think that this cabinet's beautiful. I love iArcade. I think they do an amazing job with their product. I've become really, really, really interested in, them lately. I've been buying more games, interested in the online. Ever since I got that tempered glass protector, I've basically fallen in love with my iArcade again. So, I would love to support them and get it. It's just, I'm just a little caught off guard. I don't know what to do. But I want to talk about why the price increases. So the easy one to say is, well, they improved the cabinet. Yes, of course they improved the cabinet. But you've also got to talk about it a little bit differently as well, because on top of that, the world has changed. And going back to last year, product prices started going up. I did a chill and chat, one of my earlier chill and chats, talking about the increasing cost of Arcade1Up products. Cool Toy, who at the time was very close with the company, and even, I don't know if Retro Ralph, I can't remember it off the top of my head, Conti Dinda says 800 isn't crazy for a multicade. No, not at all. But a multicade in this space compared to like something like a home, like you bring up a really good point, Conti. I'm going to get distracted and I'll go back to my point. But going to Conti's point, before all this stuff came out, before Arcade1Up, before AtGames, and before iArcade, you could get multicades. Now, there's other companies in the States I'm not aware of. I'm not aware of Rec Room Masters, any of that stuff. But you could go to the secondary market. We had a guy here who is like my arch nemesis called the Home Arcade Guy. And not because he's a bad guy or anything like that, but he was going out and collecting like all the real arcade machines left in the province. Once he would get his hands on them, he was basically bastardizing them, tearing the guts out of them, sticking, what's the device? Pandora's boxes in them and LCD screens, and then turning them back out into the public as multicades he built for people. And then when he ran out of, destroyed like most of the real arcade history left here in the province, and I'm being a little harsh on him because at the time that was a way for him to make money, and I know I'm being tough. But after that was done, he started selling his own ones he built himself. He figured out his own design for how to build the frame, and then, again, Pandora's boxes inside these self-built cabinets. He was putting out himself, and he was selling them for like $2,000. So, County, you're 100% right. $800 isn't bad for a multicade, considering how much these go for. I even remember Costco at one point, back when CRTs were still a thing, used to sell some kind of home arcade through Costco, and that was like $1,500 back in 2002 or 2001. So, yeah, maybe it's not such a bad price. Anyways, getting back to iArcade. When the prices started increasing for Arcade1Up, I did that video at the time talking about how the price was going to jump up for Arcade1Up, and we were looking at the new standard price going up from, it might be $4.99, might even be as much as $5.99, and Pinball might be increasing as well as some other companies. People told me I was crazy. Like, prices weren't going to go up. They weren't going to go up that much. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, Cool Toys kind of, hinting around the prices are going to go up like $100. And everybody was like, nah, not really. And then all of a sudden, Arcade1Up came out with the new prices for their fall lineup. And yeah, the prices were, standard cabs were anywhere from after the first run of Legacy. But after that, new cabs were $4.99 to $5.99, and some even more. So some of the other companies chimed in, and I remember talking to John about it, and, iArcade went in the opposite direction, and they actually took $100 off their cabinet. They went on sale prices, and everybody was like, man, these guys are killing it, and it was great. But what wasn't clear at the time is Arcade1Up was paying manufacturing and shipping costs to get new products brought in. These were new products they were selling, and that's why those prices were higher. While companies like AtGames and iArcade that were selling their products and the prices weren't going up, and then sometimes even going a little bit lower, they were selling what's called new old stock. So they already had stock on hand, not that they needed to get shipped, not that they needed to have manufactured or produced, not that they needed to source new parts for. They already had new old stock that they could just put out the door. So it was an opportune time for them to offer sales, to really stand up and say, we have better prices than our competitors. But the thing is, now we've got the iArcade Gold Edition, which is a new product. So guess what, guys? Maybe it's not all new parts. More than likely, they still had a bunch of these parts in their warehouse, but it's a new form factor. There's a new form factor that's been produced. There's new machines that are being produced, maybe using parts they already had on hand, but they've got to get those made, and they're being made over in Korea, I think it is, and then they've got to get them shipped over. So you factor in the new cost of wood material, manufacturing costs, then the insane new cost of shipping. Something's got to break. So for your expectation that you're going to be able to buy a $3.99 or $4.99 iArcade Gold Edition, well, it's just not realistic anymore. Now it's a $9.99 iArcade Gold Edition because that's how much it costs to make. Now, eventually, these prices might come down. iArcade will sell enough Gold Editions to justify their initial batch price, and at that point, they've hit that X factor where they've made enough money, they've got past the break even, and hit their goals and margins. At that point, anything else is considered to be butter, so then they can drop the prices, sell them at a discount, and everything they're making at that point just adds on to the profit. I think. I'm not really a manufacturing retail business wizard, but I just got it back. So, yes, back in the good old days, 3 years ago. Yeah, you think about it, this hobby has been going on for a while now, and it's a little bit crazy. So, moving away from iArcade, I don't know where it stands. I really like that 4... I got to talk to my wife about this. I just bought a gaming desk, and I think I might have got distracted telling you guys this earlier. Most of the money I've put into my hobby this year has actually been on the YouTube and production side. I've been spending more money, like buying lights. I bought a new camera that I use for live streaming and for my talking head video content. I just bought that Stream Deck. Now, today, I bought a new desk so I can improve my setup further. So, yeah, that's where it is. But it makes no sense. I have the iArcade there. Well, I'm still going to do the Should You Buy iArcade Gold Edition video. And maybe after I get that out of my system and talk to you guys about it, maybe I'll get some more feedback, and yeah, we'll go from there. Sean Nesbitt says, it's sad we will never see the $50 Arcade1Ups again. I wouldn't say for sure about that, brother. Sean, if you're interested in the Simpsons cabinet, it might not be $50, but the original $529 Simpsons cabinet is currently on clearance at a lot of Walmarts right now for $199. It's not $50, but it's $199, which is still a crazy good price. And then on top of that, there was some kind of price error this morning, and I'm actually getting a little bit of a banging on it for clickbait and other things, because I put up a video this morning talking about there was a sale, accidental sale on Arcade1Up pinball machines this morning. The Marvel pinball machine went on sale first on Amazon, or maybe it was first on Target, and Amazon changed their price to accommodate. I don't know the timeline exactly, but it was on Amazon.com and Target.com this morning. You could order a Arcade1Up Marvel pinball machine for $150. And it seems what happens is whenever these cabinets go on sale, their price point is $749, and what happens is it goes on sale $149 off for $600, and I think someone input it backwards, so it actually went on sale for $150 with $600 off. So I know Amazon sold out super quick. Target then sold out within like 40 minutes afterwards by the time I started filming my video. So the crazy thing about that is people started saying, this is going to get canceled, it's a price mistake. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, probably is. Hopefully it doesn't happen. That would suck for some people. And unfortunately, it looks like all the Target orders actually did get canceled. I know some people got shipping notifications, but most people received emails afterwards saying, this is a mistake on our part. We just can't give you a $750 product for $150. We're canceling the order. They should have thrown in some kind of coupon or something to apologize for the mistake. I mean, I think it's bullshit they did nothing. Just throw in a $20 coupon and say, hey, get like a couple Delicios and a pack of Coke on us. Like, I just don't get it. 19K Fox, what's happening, guys? I got to tell you something about 19K Fox here. 19K Fox is one of the most positive, best guys in the community. Everybody say hello to 19K Fox. P-Dub's raid on the way. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Jason Haley, they canceled the orders, man. Pretty disappointing, but what do you do, right? Yeah, Alan's Ageless Arcade. There's an Arcade1Up Pac-Man Partycade. It's a Miss Pac-Man Partycade at $99 at Walmart. So there you go. Anyways, the positive piece to my story, though, is even though Target canceled the orders and gave nothing to nobody, Amazon is either a much bigger company who can eat the loss, or they have different policies about holding up price mistakes and stuff like that. From what I understand, no Amazon orders have been canceled at this point. Amazon orders are still getting shipped out. So I'm waiting to find out what happens with the Amazon orders. But from what I understand, all the people that order through Amazon are getting their $150 Marvel pinball tables. Congratulations, guys. What a crazy deal. You guys deserve it. Sorry that the people that got it through Target didn't get theirs. That sucks. Well, now that you guys are all leaving, coming in from P-Dub's iArcade stream that he had with Michael late tonight, Michael Srabeck, I said that wrong, definitely. But Michael from iArcade, you guys missed all my complaining about the Arcade1Up, the iArcade Gold Edition price point. That's what we talked about in the first part, so I apologize, guys. I may have missed out, but, you know, I got a show I do at this time, so I can't do anything about that. No, Brad, it wasn't a hoax with Target. It was a mistake, but my problem with Target is I understand canceling the orders because it was a pricing error mistake on your part, but you do something for the people impacted. Like, you give them like a courtesy gift card, something, $10, $15, saying sorry for the inconvenience. From what I understand, they did nothing. That sucks. Amazon, to this point, with their pricing mistake or their matching price at Target, whatever happened, Amazon have in fact shipped out the orders, from what we understand. There's been no canceling, so we will see. And Nerd Jock Podcast is saying, mine is holding strong at Target. That's funny. Wow. Oh, April Fools. JJ says, I bet Amazon cancels orders too. I hope not, man. I hope some of the people at least got some benefit of this. I tell you, as addicted to I am as buying Arcade1Ups, you guys know I sold my Arcade1Up Marvel pinball a little while back, and I don't know if I told you how much for. I bought it for, it was $7.99 Canadian when I bought it, and I ended up selling it for $600 Canadian. That's what I got when it was all said and done. So, today, when I saw the Arcade1Up pinball sale through Amazon, I immediately jumped at it. And what I didn't even consider was it was $149 US plus I think shipping was like $141, and then there were duties of about $30. So by the time it was all done, it was like $341 US. And then not at one point did I consider, through my excitement about buying this, that $341 US was going to work out to a little more than $500 Canadian. So even though I got $600 Canadian for selling it, I was stupidly going to jump in and pay another almost $600 Canadian to get it back because it was on sale. Luckily, it was out. So there we go. Hey, Smitty, thank you so much for the comment. And hi, Haley, how are you? I'm Mike. Nice to meet you. Have a good day. They can keep it. It was only buying the pinball for visual. That's the other thing about this. $150 for the guys that didn't have the insane shipping I would have had. For $150 to get a pinball base. And honestly, that Arcade1Up body is built incredible. The legs, the shape, everything's awesome. Problem was the screen was too small, but like if you check out the build, my friend Charlie Chuck here, he actually took his Arcade1Up pinball table, put a 32-inch screen in it. He's got it modded out, and it's incredible. It's probably one of the best pinball tables I've ever seen. Like, I have the AtGames Legends pinball, and I love that, but I find it's a little bit low, a little bit weirdly built at times. The Arcade1Up definitely had a more comfortable build quality for us taller people. It's just getting that base for $150. You could do some damage with that. That is such a good price to start your own virtual pinball build. So yeah, there you go. Anyways, guys, moving away from iArcade, the gold edition's beautiful, the price is high, but you have to factor in, when you look at the old sale price, they were selling new old stock. They could afford to do that. They'd already sold so many, made money off the Kickstarter in order to get running. They could afford to do that, whereas the new cabinets, there's new production costs, new shipping costs. Someone has to pay for it, and right now, that's why the price has gone up. It is what it is. We're getting the initial sale, $7.99. I got to bring it back up on screen. I'm sorry. I am really strongly considering. Oh, wait a minute. I pressed the wrong thing. I am really strongly considering 4 interest-free installments. So I'll be doing my should you buy video tomorrow, and you guys can help me out on whether or not I'm going to order an iArcade Gold Edition. I want it for the wrong reasons. I want it because I want it. I already have an iArcade that's going to be able to do everything this does. I don't need it, but I still want it. I'm trying to justify it or talk myself out of it here because I have problems. Anyways, guys, moving on here. Let me bring up this chat so I can take that down. Clear. So, moving on here. And thank you so much, everybody who came over from P-Dub Stream on the iArcade. Now we're going to talk about the price issues with Arcade1Up. So this is the one that's going to be really, really interesting here because I'll bring it up on screen too, guys. So we come over here, Arcade1Up, and I just want to show you guys some of the prices on this. Their Dragon's Lair. I love their Dragon's Lair. Still waiting for a Canadian retailer. I'm not going to bite at you. I know about the Dirk special, but the shipping, I don't want to do it. So anyways, let's talk about the pricing on these cabinets. Like, when Arcade1Up first came out, the cool thing about it was, I mean, these were $299. You could buy a riser for another $50 in the US. So for $349, you were basically had an arcade machine you could stand up in front of and play in your home. Then, you know, people, I'm going to bring myself back on screen for this. Then people wanted to see some improvements to the cabinet. They wanted some better build quality, maybe some better buttons. They wanted to see the cabinets look more like the original cabinets. They wanted to see better games. Some people wanted more games. They wanted to see light-up marquees. So the next iteration, Wave 3, we got that. We got better slanted screens. BOE monitors were amazing. Sound was really good. All of a sudden, we had light-up marquees. The cabinets started to look more like real arcades. Things were good with Arcade1Up, and it felt like a really solid price point of $3.99 to get all that bang for your buck. And then here in Canada, I think at the time the price point at $3.99 US was about $5.99 Canadian. And that felt good. That felt like a really happy time to be collecting Arcade1Up. That's when I bought the majority of my cabinets and when I was the most passionate about it. But like I mentioned in that video I did a while ago, the Chillin' Chat where I talked about the price increases were coming, I knew the prices were going to go up again. Like the jump from $2.99 to $3.99 that happened in the US, and the jump from $5.19 to $5.99 here in Canada when we got the light-up marquees. I knew there was going to be a little bit more of a price increase, but nothing could have prepared me for how drastic the price increase was. And I know so much has to do with inflation, sourcing new parts, shipping, and all that stuff. But like, you think about it, Arcade1Ups with the light-up marquee and the form factors went from $3.99. Like, you know, when NBA Jam came out, if I'm not mistaken, NBA Jam was $3.99. To all of a sudden, these cabinets are $6.99. That's $300 more. That's a 75% price increase. And you think I'm joking? No, I'm not. I mean, get off the screen here. Cancel. So bring it up on screen again here. I mean, you go down to Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct, $6.99. Now, I know it comes with a stool. You can add the extra value in for that, but $200 extra for just the cabinet. The only real change, you get a little bit of a form factor change. You get this heightened piece, and, I mean, the speakers are worse. I know it's more expensive to make, but it's hard from a value standpoint of justifying a 75% increase in price jump up. It's tough. It's tough. Now, some people, it doesn't matter for. There's, it doesn't register. It's fine. People are just like, whatever. Hey, P-Dubs Arcade Loft, let me bring it up here. P-Dubs, thank you so much for the raid, brother. Greatly appreciated. Hope Multicade Mondays was a good show. Sorry about that. I thought you guys were doing later shows. You were going after. I didn't even know you were live. Vernsky says, don't do the payment, Michael B. Dead is like blow. Once you start, it's hard to stop. Nah, I've given up blow lots of times. Nooner says, inflation is a mother flubber, and maybe that's the thing. I mean, that's some drastic inflation. So I'm not going to get into a big debate on whether or not the prices are justified. There's been so many people that have already done videos on that stuff, talking about the wood, question John D. and question Arcade1Up's ethics about the price increases. All we know is the price went up, man. That's it. The prices just went up. It is what it is. But has it impacted the way that you collect? I know with me and Arcade1Up, I've got a full arcade now. I really like what I have. So with some of the arcades being more expensive, I haven't been as eager or as anxious to go pick something up. I mean, I've done tons of streams talking about my Arcade1Up addiction, and seems like the cure for it in a lot of ways was they just got way too pricey. So, yeah. I get Golden Tee being more expensive as replica. It really does look nice. No riser, coin door, larger deck, taller, etc. Yeah, but that's an XL cab. We're not even talking about that. The Killer Instinct I just showed for $6.99, which, by the way, is the exact same price as, the Golden Tee 3D and the awful looking Shaq XL cabinet that's coming out, which doesn't look anything like the original cabinet. It's the same price, but yet it's still a 3/4 scale cabinet. So, I'm not going to justify whether or not the price is valid. I'm not. I mean, that's up for you. The question is, where do you stand? Again, these were accessible and affordable. So it became an affordable hobby to go out to Walmart to order these and put them in your home and build an arcade. Now, every time you're buying one, in the US, it's $600 now, or anywhere between $549 to $699. That's what you're paying for an Arcade1Up cabinet. And here in Canada, it's anywhere from $769 up to $849. So, I mean, we're at $1,000 a cab here in Canada now. It's tougher. It's tougher for me with my economic availability. I don't know about everybody, but it's tougher, and I don't have as much interest in buying. I still have just as much interest in the cabinets. I just can't buy as many now. I can't afford it. So it's interesting to see what you guys are feeling about it too. Do you feel the same way? Has this waned your interest a little bit, or are you still completely gung-ho? Is it because you think the value's there, or is it because you just have the expendable income and this is your hobby? Let me know, guys. I talk way too much. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Donut says, in my opinion, going from 300 to 600, over 600 is ridiculous. I don't believe inflation is that bad. A lot of people have said the same thing. They don't listen to the costing. I think it's easy to say inflation isn't that bad, and if you just take parts into consideration, that's fine. But the shipping stuff, I didn't have any idea how bad the shipping was, like, at all. But we're talking about containers that were typically like $600 have jumped up to like 10,000 now from what's been explained to me. I mean, the level of increase on that, I can see shipping paying into it a ton, and no one wants to pay for that shit. I mean, it's not our responsibility for the company to ship them to the US or to Canada, but somebody's going to pay for it, right? Wow, Robin Rising says, Star Wars Pinball was $150 today if you were up at 5 a.m., had your credit card in hand, and part of the Discord groups. Was that like Marvel with Amazon, or was it through a different company, Robin? I'm more interested now because the cabinets look more authentic, have online leaderboards, and better game selection. That's an excellent point, -1. And, for some people, they're 100% there. You're getting more value for your dollar on the cabinets you're picking up. They have more features you're interested in. Sure, they cost more money, but you know what? If you've got the money and you're happy with it, you're happy with the upgrades, you're willing to pay it. Alan's Ageless Arcades know what I'm talking about. Shipping containers that were $3K are now $30K. So, 10 times the cost. That's how much these have gone up by. Nooner says, I prioritize every want even more now, and part of doing that is not duplicating games cabs. Multi-cabs save space, so I've cut back on Arcade1Ups. Yeah, I did a video about that a little while ago. Is now the time for multi-cades, and it showed people moving away from Arcade1Up and looking at multi-cades. And for some people, 100% with the increased costs, limited space. I know I talked to Steve V. I don't know if he's 100% still here, but I talked to Steve Victoria about it. And it was the question of, you only have so much space left. The cabs are so expensive. Maybe a multi-cade isn't such a bad thing. Sterling Hall, excellent comment. I agree with this too. If you're going to nail them with a level of quality and attention to detail that maybe a Tron has, I know I'm going to get hit with the sticks comments here, but with the attention to detail a Tron has, I really don't have a ton of problem paying. We did good here in Canada compared to you guys in the US. $7.69 Canadian. You guys paid more, but there you go. 7.4% increase on every individual item adds up. Yeah, 100% that might be. Maybe we're looking at this as a whole, when you got to take into consideration screen prices have gone up, every button's gone up, and that's how they figure it out. Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know, guys. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an economist. I don't know what the answer is here. But I will tell you that for me, and with what I have, plus my level of expendable income, it is getting harder for me to keep up with the Joneses. I don't know if that's the right comment, but to buy everything, to be as interested in everything. In the last run of cabinets that just came out, I skipped Ridge Racer, and even though it was accessible to me and I could pick it up, and I skipped Class of 81, I've already explained that, but I skipped Killer Instinct too. I wasn't going to get Killer Instinct just because of the price. So I was like, I don't need it. I don't really have room. It's really expensive, and I'd rather save my money for something like Dragon's Lair down the line. Now, I eventually did get Killer Instinct, luckily, because I did the trade with my buddy Mike Dalton, but, otherwise I probably wouldn't have got it. And that all factors into the price point for me. Todd S. says, my base iArcade is my favorite. Map Mania, my favorite childhood game. Have 3 Arcade1Ups, Pack 40, Tempest, Mortal Kombat, Space Invaders, hopefully Commando, the Dream Cubert on the iArcade. There you go. -1 says, I wonder if the licensing prices have gone up. All those early Namco titles and Atari ones might not have been that hard to get and recoup. Well, that's an interesting point. I don't know as much about licensing. That'd be more a question for John D when he comes on. I've talked to some people at AtGames when they're talking to companies about licensing, and it seems to be similar numbers. William Olt says Killer Instinct blows. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It depends on if you want. I had a lot of fun with it, but maybe Killer Instinct will also be something I get rid of from my arcade eventually, especially with the Pro model coming out. There you go. Chucky Shea says, it's awesome they have something for all of us. And that is a really good and interesting point as well, Chuck Shea, because people forget about this. They do. They still do have more cost-effective models of Arcade1Up cabinets. So for the people that say stuff like, you know what, I can't justify paying X amount of dollars for an Arcade1Up cabinet. I still wish they were $299. They are. Some of the Arcade1Up models have what's considered to be Walmart value models that you can still buy today for $299 in Walmart when the cabinets first come out. You remember last year with the legacy cabinets? They're going to have, I don't know about the new ones, but the legacy cabinets last time all had $299 models. So you got the cabinet with a non-light up marquee No Wi-Fi. I don't know how that's going to work now, but a non-light up marquee and no riser for $299, just like the originals. You can still buy those. It just depends on which model. Not every cabinet came out in a $299 model, just some of them. Some of their more easily sellable models. So, yeah, if you don't want to spend the new prices, they still do have affordable models, just with less of the bells and whistles that you're looking for. Jaster Muriel says, I think I'm done with cabs. Out of space. Too expensive. House of the Dead could tempt me, though. And Jaster, I love that. That's an excellent comment, because I think a lot of people are in the same place right now. Like, I love Arcade1Up. I got an addiction. There's something wrong with me. I just have got into buying everything. I wanted to consume everything that I could get my hands on. But I was in a space where I ran out of room, sold some cabs, ran out of room again, and then started selling cabs. But I'm like you now, where these cost so much. I have an arcade full of stuff like I love. I've got so many childhood wishes answered by having these 3/4 arcades at my home. And now the new arcades coming out are cool, but I need something special to tempt me, especially at that price point. Dragon's Lair is one of them. Dragon's Lair is a cab I'm going to get. I don't know what I'm going to get rid of to bring Dragon's Door in. Mystery Encoder. Mystery Encoder. He knows that every cabinet's kick plate that I put out there, if it doesn't have coin doors, it's automatic fail. Just on the coin doors part. And if your T2 runs House of the Dead, we need to talk, Mystery Encoder. We need to talk. I don't think Arcade1Up is going to screw up Dragon's Lair. The only thing that could be wrong with Dragon's Lair that I could see, obviously it's not 1-for-1 with the recreation of the original cabinet. There's some concessions there. The only thing that they could possibly do is there's something wrong with the emulation, which I don't think so, because Digital Leisure has been doing this for a while now. I know Arcade1Up, I think, is getting their own custom emulator, custom Daphne-like emulator built for it, and it's going to work well. Yeah, the only thing I can see it being screwed up on is, again, the speakers not being good. I mean, it's a 17-inch screen. They still got lots of BOE monitors. I think we're pretty safe with Dragon's Lair unless they screw up the sound. I'm excited for Dragon's Lair 2, Mystery Encoder. That's the cabinet I want. That may force me... I'm in a bit of a online fighting game kick right now, so I was going to get rid of my X-Men vs. Street Fighter cabinet. I think that's got a little bit more life. I want to play that more again now. So that's going to stay in the arcade a little longer. I think Frogger, as much as I love you, Frogger may be on the way out to make room for Dragon's Lair. We'll see. Yeah, see, and here's another one that would 100% get me interested, price point excited again, is a Robotron 2084 cab. I'll backflip for that one. That would bring me back into the fold. I would be very interested in that. Derek Wing brings up another comment. The inclusion of the online space that Arcade1Up have created definitely brings up a lot more interest. It didn't bring up enough interest to keep me with NBA Jam. I ended up selling that one. But the fighting game communities, I really like that. With the beat 'em ups, adds a little bit more replay factor. So the online leaderboards with Tron, I'm interested in that. I don't necessarily always do really well with it. Yeah, so there's some good stuff there. I agree with that comment. Telly Mantelli says, I disagree. They should have the best ROM possible. HD videos, special anniversary content like you can do with Daphne. Maybe? I don't know. Jay Reed says, do you still have your NES collection? No, I kept what was important to me, really important to me, but I ended up getting rid of a lot of my NES collection, mainly because it just wasn't insurable. I started getting worried about leaving the house, and, I had my first kid, and then a local collector, and you guys are going to have a hard time believing this, but it's 100% true. A local collector here that was also known for retro game collecting got held up at gunpoint in his house with people looking to take his collection. So that was pretty much the end of me having a massive physical collection of retro video games once I found out they couldn't be insured and someone got held up at gunpoint for them. Hey, Hobby Hands! New member, Hobby Hands has been a member for 11 months. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, I think a lot of us want to see P-Dubs get his Q*bert. I know they have the rights to Q*bert. I just don't know why they haven't done them. Now, before we go, I've talked about two of the companies and talked about their price increases. Arcade1Up, obviously. You know, a lot of things have changed. There's a lot more value to their cabinets, but at the same time, it's a 75% increase in inflation costs. So it's a little hard to swallow. These are becoming more and more a luxury item and less that affordable and accessible item for the regular person to collect. In fact, a lot of people in this space have moved on and started collecting real arcades. Honestly, the inconvenience of having to fix them, plus the difficulty of trying to find them and find them at the right price, is at this point makes sense compared to the prices with Arcade1Up, so people have moved away from it. So before I go, not every company gets out of this scot-free, so I want to go back to the brick, and you guys might not experience this, but this is going to play into the new old stock comment that I made about iArcade earlier. But you guys all know the pricing for AtGames. That didn't increase when all the prices started to increase with Arcade1Up, and it goes to the new old stock comment again. But I want you to take a look here at the AtGames Legends Ultimate Cab. Now, when this first came to Canada, I was gobsmacked by the price point because these sold for $500 at Sam's Club, but they were selling this for $8.99 at the brick, and I just couldn't understand the massive increase in price between Canada and US. There seemed to be this massive markup. So anyways, the brick has had them for a while. They've been selling these. They look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with mine. Very happy, in fact. And there's a big community burrowed here in Canada now of Legends Ultimate fans. Everybody loves the multicade. But the brick have recently had to increase the price. It went from being $8.99, which I thought was a bit on the pricey side for this, now up to $9.99. Now, if I can also find the Legends Pinball, let me... Oh, wait a minute. Idiot. I'm not even showing it. I'm sorry, guys. So this is the brick. As you can see, the Legends Ultimate has gone from $8.99 all the way up to $9.99. That's already jumped up $100 in price. Now, if I can find it, go back here, and 100%, I'm going to screw something up here when I try to get this for you guys. There you can see the Toy Shock $7.49 Canadian. Man, if they could have done that at somewhere between $4.99 and $5.99 out of the gates, they might have had a chance here in Canada. I don't know. They might have sold well. And then that price point I just talked about again. I mean, there is the Counter-Arcade Toy Shock pinballs that we had heard so much about. They talked about on the third episode of Super Game Room Dudes. They're available here in Canada, but you look at that price point again, $449.95. Yikes, man, it's just so expensive. Can you imagine buying a Counter-Arcade for $450? Yikes. Anyways, what I want to show you here is if I can bring this up. That was just AtGames. There we go. Even the Legends Pinball, which I thought was super expensive when it first came to Canada, was $999. That's gotten a $200 increase, all the way up to $1,200. $1199.99 here at the brick. So, $1,200, $200 increase for pinball, $100 increase for AtGames Legends Ultimate. Now you guys are saying there's been no increase in the US. Why is there increase in Canada? Again, shipping costs. We go back to the container prices. To bring new stock in to Canada from the US, from AtGames, there's increased shipping costs. Someone has to pay for them. Company can't afford to sell these at the price, so they've had to raise the prices. So there we get it again. And guess what's going to happen when AtGames runs out of their current inventory? They want to sell more. They're going to have to order more in, and there's going to be increased costs there. So there you go. There's going to possibly be an increase in AtGames products as well. So for the people getting sticker shock right now from Arcade1Up, from iArcade the Gold Edition, saying, wow, I can't believe these prices, inflation's affecting everybody. Whether or not it makes sense, I don't know. It sucks, though. And that's the one thing I will say. It does suck, though, because for so long, this has been a hobby that so many different people from so many walks of life could enjoy. You could build these home arcade cabinets. You didn't have to be a super wealthy person. But it is moving in that direction, unfortunately. And it's kind of out of these companies' hands. They're not doing it to gouge you. It's just the way that the world is right now. It's tougher, and it sucks. It was a really fun hobby when it was super dirt cheap, and it's great to get deals, but it is getting a little more expensive now. Sosa, Fam, Bam Bam, $5 super chat. You are the man. Great stream. Keep up the good work. Thank you so very much for saying that, brother. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for joining me here tonight. My first chillin' chat since my baby was born. And yeah, there we are. I really appreciate the super chat, and thanks for being back. Ralphie Duran says it was expected. We all expected some increases, but you got to go back to the time period when this happened. I mean, both those companies, iArcade and AtGames, everybody relied on the fact that their prices weren't going up. Yet Arcade1Up's prices were jumping, and they were questioning why Arcade1Up had to charge more for their products, yet these other companies could just stay where they were. It was just timing. Arcade1Up was bringing a new product. The other companies had new old stock. Now that the other stuff's coming up, their prices are increasing as well. Brooklyn Menace says, at least you get free healthcare, so it evens out. That's true. I did just have the baby there the other day. There's no cost to me for doing so because I'm Canadian. So yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Congrats, Michael B. and your family. Thank you again, Denzi. I really appreciate it, brother. That means a lot, man. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Is there a new answer? Whoa, before I go, Rick Jacobs. Thank you so much for joining the OnlyFans, man. It's greatly appreciated. I'm glad I didn't miss that. Anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's so hard to have this conversation and to have it in a productive way that makes sense, but I hope I did it in a way that kind of made you understand, why the prices are the way they are. It sucks because a lot of people are hurt by it because they can't get as much as they used to get, but it is what it is. And the thing I wanted to know mostly from you guys, has it changed your interest level? Has it changed the way you've been playing? And I've got some interesting information back from you guys. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully the prices at least regulate at some point. I don't know if they'll ever go back down. Like, obviously, some stuff just makes sense. Like Simpsons, the $1.99 deals that's going all over the place. Obviously, that's correcting the equation. That was at a price point that people weren't willing to pay, and maybe Arcade1Up overstocked that one a little bit. So we're seeing that, but don't expect that to be the norm. I think these new prices are here to stay. Hopefully, they just don't go any higher, and we're at a balancing point. And yeah, that's all I want to say. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday. I've got to go relieve my wife down and stay up with the baby for the next 3 to 4 hours. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Sosa, Fam, Bam, Bam. You didn't have to do that, man. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I'll be thinking about that for the next 4 hours while I'm trying to stay awake with the kid. I really appreciate it, brother. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for coming over from P-Dub's show after he finishes stream with iArcade. Look for a video from me sometime tomorrow, hopefully, talking about should you buy the iArcade Gold Edition. Maybe I can figure out whether or not I want this or not. Have a great night, everybody. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time.